All right, Donnie, you want to just start out by just kind of take us through, obviously a tall task playing against a 19-time national championship program. What did you see from your team tonight? I mean, I was impressed the way you kind of hung with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had them on the ropes, right? No, what we talked about leading up to this is today really wasn't about today. It was about putting on display who we want to be for the rest of the season, who we want to be as a program going forward for years to come, right? And I think the most important thing that we figured out really quick was we belonged on the court with them. And we've got some guys in our gym right now who are doing some really cool things, and we're still, we just started practice on Monday, so we're still putting our systems in place. We're still kind of trying to figure out the gray area of the game. But by and large, I'm really proud of the way we competed today.
What did you think of the atmosphere with a sold-out gym and then a little bit of that ovation at the end?
Yeah, it was a cool atmosphere, and I think what's even more fun is that we put together some really high-quality volleyball along the way, and gave the crowd something to get excited about during that, right? And even those moments where we probably took 2, 3, maybe 4 swings that are going to score against a lot of other teams this year, but the ball kept coming back our way, and hearing the crowd getting more and more excited. That's why we play the game, right? At that level of competition, and that's what these guys signed up for, right? They could have gone elsewhere if they were looking for kind of an easier road, but during the recruiting process with all these guys, we talked about how nothing's going to be guaranteed, and they're going to be challenged every day. Not just when we play teams like UCLA, but every single day when we come in the gym, they're challenged, and they've embraced it.
Having a guy that's played probably against a D1 competition before, how has he helped even these last few days and even in the game today? What does it mean to have someone that's not a freshman or a sophomore it's on
nice
the court for you
to
now?
Have that wily veteran out there for us, right? Just a little bit more physical, a little bit more experienced, and to me, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, the greatest thing he brings is, with being a few years older than the other guys, there is just a great mentorship from him, right? Because even though he is older than them, he is still pretty darn young in the grand scheme of things, and it would be very easy to be impatient and kind of like overbearing for young mistakes happening around him. But he has been so even keel with the guys, so patient, and just kind of has shown them and led by example of this is how we're going to conduct ourselves to play at the highest caliber.
What does a game like tonight's, kind of do for your team? I mean, you said yourself, you guys could see that you belonged on the court, but how does that kind of help to boost, confidence going, just for the season?
Yeah, I can tell you just the small team huddle we had after the game, the guys are hungry, right? Like, if we could clear out that gym right now, I'm sure they'd be sticking around and getting some more reps, but I'm pretty sure that's against the rules, so we won't do that. But they got to taste that highest level of play, and they want more. And I can tell you tomorrow's practice is going to be super focused, and I'm really excited for it.
I know you have matches in between, but the way you competed today, does that give you any reset the expectations at all for how you can play against Pepperdine or Harvard?
That what we did today doesn't change anything. We really talk about, or I do, the scoreboard does not matter to me. I don't care if we're playing a team that we're supposed to lose to on paper, a team that we're supposed to beat on paper. I want to see the quality of product we put on the court, right? And are we trying to stay as focused and disciplined as we've been training? Are we giving the effort that we've been training in the gym? And so regardless of the outcome, the expectation is that we're going to hold ourselves to a championship caliber. And I think we put it on display tonight. And whether we did or not, the expectation would still be to do that. So I don't think tonight changes anything.
I'm sure it was cool for your guys to say that they played UCLA, but for you, coaching against a guy you've known, but the U.S. Olympic coach, talk about the experience just from your point of view and being able to have this event today.
So when I came into the men's volleyball world, because I was on the women's side for a while, I was starting this program at Daemen, when you leave the Buffalo radius, there's not too many people wearing like Daemen gear like they're wearing UCLA, right? But when I went out and introduced myself to other coaches in the collegiate world, including some of the UCLA coaches at my first recruiting event, the camaraderie on the guys' side is phenomenal. It's awesome. So there is a guy, John Spraw, who everybody in the volleyball world has the utmost respect for, right, including me, and he'll sit down and have a half-hour conversation with you, right? And yeah, what can I do to help your program grow? And it wasn't just from him, it was from just about every single coach I talked to in the community, right? And I think that's really important for young players and young coaches to see, is somebody who is at the highest level of the game, like John, is so humble and so willing to give back. And to me, that's really important.
He mentioned he doesn't remember the first conversation he had with you. Do you remember your first conversation with him?
So, we can talk about a few things. My first conversation with him, or kind of how we got the ball rolling with us starting our program, right?
One B.
Yeah, because I can tell you, we heard about what Motor MVB, which they were named at the time, now First Point Volleyball, what they were trying to do, which was grow men's volleyball. We gave them a call on April 5th, I believe 2017, and on May 5th, 1 month later, we were in here announcing the program with Wade Gerard. So it was awesome that they were as passionate about starting this program as we were, and it seemed like our goals were aligned. So along the way, I was able to be introduced to John. So I suppose I don't remember my first conversation with him either, but I certainly remember the way this program was started, and I'm always going to be thankful for that, because it's been an awesome ride so far, and I think it's just getting started.
It's unique with this sport because there are so few Division I teams. Division II team could win the national championship, and as John was saying, maybe there aren't enough Division I scholarships for as many players as deserve them. What does that say about what's kind of the ceiling for a program like Daemen as you build this program?
Yeah, there's a few schools we pay attention to here that are kind of a blueprint or roadmap to where we could be. Lincoln Memorial right now down in Tennessee is an independent school, 2 years ahead of us, so they're in their 4th year. And I guarantee they're going to surprise a lot of teams this year. I'll give their coach, John Cash, a shout out, because every time I talk with him when we're out recruiting, I am jacked up to get in the gym and coach my guys, because he brings that passion. And so you can see a small school kind of in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, is doing so well because of what he brings, right? And he brings this passion, and he finds guys and he says, like, I just want guys that want to play, right? I don't need guys that want all the bells and whistles. There's enough guys out there that want to play and can play at a high level. And then really the ceiling for D2s right now is Lewis. They're Chicago, and they're putting it on display of what a smaller D2 school can do. And I just watched them play up in Toronto a few days ago. To me, like, that team is so much better than what they should be on paper, because of what that head coach brings, because of the culture they've instilled, because again, they found the guys that want to play, right? The guys that don't need that lazy river that some of like the Power 5 football schools have. Like, they just want to get in the gym and play, and like, it's really refreshing when you find guys like that, and I think we found those guys too. So to me, like, what the ceiling is in 2, 3, 4 years, I would love to be competing for a national championship. Does that work for you, Tracy?
Yeah.
Could we do that?
Sure.
Sweet.
Just talk about the crowd, the sellout crowd. They were loud. They were cheering for you guys. Just what was it like playing against, or for them today?
So the Western New York volleyball community, especially like on the guy side, again, is awesome, right? We've got this pocket of men's volleyball, boys volleyball in Buffalo and Rochester. So the fact that it sold out before the day of the game, in fact, maybe about like 2 weeks before, didn't surprise me, right? Not to say that we're boasting a 10,000 person stadium, but it didn't surprise me at all. And we've got a good amount of local guys on the team too. And so it was really cool for not just for us to play a team like UCLA, but to bring them into our building. And I said it on May 5th, 2017, like, I would love Daemen to be like the center of the Western New York always volleyball community, right? Where these guys can come here and see that level of play, and that's why we're getting out in the community too, right? And we're doing clinics at different locations, and we're trying to get more kids engaged, because to me, this sport can grow even more than what we already have. And I think today just showed like how exciting that gym can be, and if we could be there kind of as a regular basis of filling that gym, I think the guys would really appreciate it.
Who stood out for you individually today?
Yeah, well, I think you're going to hear from Zach Arrington in a little bit, but we knew he was going to come in here and hit the ball hard for us. He was going to jump high. He's a really physical athlete, and he went to town on a few balls, which was pretty cool. He got the crowd really into it. So he brought that veteran physicality that we knew he'd be bringing for us. And then I think both our liberos, Jaden Gillette and John Jaworski, did an awesome job of sitting in and with serve receive and not thinking like, gee, I hope I keep this ball alive, but they were in charge of the ball. They had a strong platform on it. They put the ball where it was supposed to go, and they did not look like a sophomore and freshman today. They both did a really good job.
How hard is it to prepare for the size and jumping ability that UCLA has?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to simulate in the practice gym, right? And but the good thing that we have in our gym is a deep roster. All right, there is not a starting 7 and then a much lower second half of the roster. Every single day at practice, it is so competitive. We mix guys all around, and we grind. There's really no off days in our practice gym, and the guys will all tell you that, and it's not just beneficial for us that way to prepare for a team like this, but it's just more fun. Like, our practice gym is fun. Every single day, the guys love coming and competing against each other.
What goals do you have for yourself and for this team this season?
For this team, it's going to be real arbitrary, and I probably won't give you a detailed answer, but I just want us playing at the highest level we can, right? And if they get to a level higher than they are now, I'm going to ask for the next level, right? And if they get to that, I'm going to ask for the next level. And they know nobody's going to be off the hook because they can always improve. And when we talk about the culture that we've put in place, we don't have egos in the gym. We don't have guys fighting the idea of the fact that they can all get better. And so that gives me the green light to push for more, right? And as a coaching staff, it's our job to create that fun, engaging environment for them, that competitive environment where they feel valued, they feel trusted, or they trust us, that we have their best interest in mind. So because we've put that culture in place, we can keep asking for more and more and more. So really what I want from our team is to play at the highest level we can by the time April rolls around.
I think we're good.
Awesome.